Hey guys, Malcolm Cobb of your class. Going to be doing a quick versus match for you today with the iPhone 5, putting it up against the brand new HTC One. We're going to be talking about the design, the software, just to see which phone comes out on top and see which phone is worth that 2-year contract. So let's get into it now. First one we're going to start off with then is going to be the design. Starting off with the HTC now, obviously it is a insanely nice phone. The build quality is really nice. The anodized aluminium is really nice as well. Obviously the screen itself, the 4.7 inch screen with a pixel density of 468 ppi is insanely good. You can't really beat it. Obviously with the all metal design that we've got here, it's a really premium feeling phone and it does feel really nice to hold in the hand. In terms of the iPhone 5, the design is starting to look a bit stale now. Obviously, every iPhone since the iPhone 4 has looked like this design. The iPhone 5S probably going to look exactly the same as well. And just in general, the screen and things are starting to look a bit small. It was good when it came out, but obviously it's starting to look a bit tiny now in comparison. But obviously the overall build design and things is very nice. Can't really fault what they're doing at the moment, but they could change up a little bit, just kind of get a bit more excitement in there. Next up is user interface. So obviously with the HTC One, we're going to be looking at the new HTC Sense, which is Sense 5. Now it's super easy to use, really customizable. Obviously if you are a big fan of Blink feed, then that is really good. It's going to kind of get all your news feeds and all your Facebook feeds, etc., and put it all into one place. If you don't particularly like it, unfortunately there is no way to turn it off or to kind of not have it on there, and it does take up one of your home screens, which is a bit of a disappointment. And obviously as with Android, you get the usual thing with your widgets. Obviously you can make folders and everything like that as well. So this is a really nice step towards kind of getting that pure Android experience, but on maybe a more higher end device than say the Nexus 4. In terms of the iPhone 5, again, starting to look a bit stale with iOS. Unless they can bring something out that is really good with iOS 7. Yes, iOS is really easy to use. Obviously, adults can use it, kids can use it, elderly people can use it. But I think that can sometimes be a drawback as well, because it's maybe too easy to use. Not much customization can be had. You can't really change anything up apart from the wallpaper and obviously your app layout. But at the moment, I personally am getting slightly bored of iOS, and they really do need to do something to step up their game. Next up is features and performance. The HTC is going to be rocking a 1.7 GHz quad-core processor, so it's going to be extremely fast, blazingly good with games and things like that, and the performance is really nice. The home button is actually going to double as an IR blaster for compatible TVs, so that's going to be really handy if you don't want to have loads of remotes and things around. You just hook it up to your TV and use the phone. The speakers on the HTC One are what HTC are calling the Boom Sound speakers. Now they do sound insanely good, better than any speakers I've heard on a mobile device, and even that on a tablet as well. Obviously you are going to get all the goodness from Android. It's going to be running a Jelly Bean, so you're going to get everything like Google Now and obviously all the notification center and everything like that, so that's really nice to have from there as well. You get the best out of it. Obviously NFC does come built in as well, which is really nice to have from there, obviously using Android Beam to get things from different devices. Whereas the iPhone 5 is going to be rocking a dual-core A6 processor. You're going to get all the usual iOS features in terms of Siri, you're going to get Passbook and things like that, but that's kind of maybe one of the downsides of iOS as well. Siri is not maybe as good as Google Now. The interface is not as nice, it takes longer to get results, and also things like Passbook you're not going to be using, there's no NFC built in, the maps aren't as good as Google Maps, and things like Newsstand, if you don't want to use it, there's no way to get rid of it. But the overall phone and things does run extremely well, it does run fast, the actual performance is very nice, but they could do some things in terms of the software and in terms of features to kind of get it up to where it needs to be. There's a lot of things that it maybe doesn't have, so I mean they do need to really step it up, obviously with the launch of the iPhone 5S coming hopefully soon. Hopefully they're going to be doing something really nice to kind of change everything up. If not, we'll have to wait till the iPhone 6. Next up is going to be camera performance. Okay guys, so I'm not going to go into this in too much detail because I'm going to be doing a completely separate video which is going to go into a lot of detail into the comparison between the actual cameras, looking at picture quality and video quality. Just to give a brief overview though, the HTC One is going to have incredibly good low light performance. Obviously with that 4 megapixel ultra pixel camera, it's going to be able to let in a lot more light, so those low light situations are going to look a lot better. Now with the iPhone 5 on the other hand, daytime situations in my opinion do look a lot better. Obviously the lighting and things may help. Low light situations though, not as nice as on the HTC One. Obviously both phones perform incredibly good in terms of their video quality, both can do 1080p video, and again no issues there at all. I would personally say though that the microphone on the iPhone 5 is slightly better, so obviously when you are doing videos and things you are going to get slightly more crisp sound with the iPhone 5. One thing that is worth mentioning though, with obviously having Android built into the actual HTC, you're going to get a lot more in terms of camera and video performance, in terms of different effects, different filters, different editing software that you're not going to get on the iPhone without having to use an external application. So obviously if we're having a look now, obviously in terms of the kind of filters you can do, they're kind of real time as well, so you're not going to have to wait for them to get applied or anything. So obviously have a look now. Different scenes, obviously there's some pretty crazy, wacky ones that you can have here, and obviously you get things like the Zoe feature as well, which kind of takes a 4 or 5 second video, and obviously lets you then pick the best scene from that. So again, that's real handy to have there as well. And also after you've taken the photo, there's more in terms of editing software built into the device to kind of get that perfect photo even after you've taken the photo. So it's not just while you're taking photos, it's after as well, which again, to do that kind of processing and things, you are going to have to do it using an external application on the iPhone 5. Last thing we're looking at then is call quality. Now, both phones perform extremely well in terms of call quality. The speakers, the microphones are insanely good. Didn't have any trouble hearing on either end of the phone, whether I was the one talking or the one receiving the actual call. And again, the person on the other end of the phone didn't have any issues there either. Obviously, with the HTC, you are going to get a better speaker because of the boom sound speakers that are on the front of the device. But the iPhone is no slouch when it comes to the speaker itself. Again, very good, very clear, very understandable. So now on to the final verdict. Both phones perform extremely well. Obviously the performance of both phones is very good in terms of the speed, the features that it has, and also sometimes the features that it doesn't have. For every good feature that I found on the HTC One, there was also a bad feature, and vice versa for the iPhone as well. Obviously the iPhone has an insanely good app library, but some of the apps that come pre-installed you're not going to be using, whereas obviously the other way around with the HTC, some of the apps that come pre-installed are going to be extremely useful, like the built-in camera application, but then in the actual app store you may find some bloatware or just some apps that you don't particularly like. Because it is an open source system, there's a lot of apps that aren't very high quality as well out there. Now, like I say, as a final verdict, I would personally say that I'm not too sure how I can pick a clear winner. If you do want a phone that is easily customizable and does have a lot of built-in features, then definitely the HTC One is your choice, and I would highly recommend it. If though you are looking for maybe something simpler with a really good app library, but that is also really easy to use, then I would recommend the iPhone 5. So I wouldn't necessarily say there is a clear winner, so sorry for anyone that is watching that wanted me to say which one is better, but to be honest, they've both got their good points. So, like I say, I'm Michael from Copy of Glass, with a bit of a controversial ending to my HTC One versus iPhone 5, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.